You must be living under a rock if you don't know OpenClaw yet. Well, the project has gone under several names. It was called OpenClaw first, and then Anthropic, probably the good guys, actually sued them to change their name to Moltbot, which was actually not good as well. And then they are now calling themselves OpenClaw. So, what exactly is OpenClaw? OpenClaw is your personal AI assistant, like the finally that really does things for you. It's an open source project. You can find it on the GitHub as OpenClaw now. By the time you're listening to this, if they don't change their name again. But in this video, we're gonna see like how you can actually use OpenClaw and how does it really work. So first of all, in terms of setup, an OpenClaw kind of proxy and gateway can run on a mini device like Raspberry Pi, and that is actually the idea, to not actually install it on your actual machine, your working machine, and give it all the access. So what I have done is like I have installed it on a Raspberry Pi, which is pretty good to actually handle this kind of load, which is running like an Ubuntu OS, and inside that I prefer to always use Docker, and inside that I'm running actually OpenClaw. So OpenClaw needs two things. One is the access to any kind of model that you want to integrate with. It doesn't provide model out of the box, obviously, but you can use on-device model as well, and access to the internet so that it can actually connect with different kind of services, and then also like send text, and so that you can control it directly via your phone without actually going into the interface. So that is the cool thing about this, is completely self-hosted, off the grid setup, so you don't need to actually pay for any kind of ChatGPT subscription and stuff like that. That's what makes it a little bit different. Well, we are going to look into like how does it actually work. So at the core of OpenClaw, there is this OpenClaw gateway, which actually connects all the services together, right? And the first service that we're going to talk about are the user interfaces. So there are multiple ways that you can actually connect to the OpenClaw gateway. There is the OpenClaw CLI. They offer a dashboard, a web interface which runs on the local host server, and they also offer a terminal UI which you can directly use to execute commands, a Mac OS app, an iOS node, and Android node. So basically you have everything covered. But what's interesting is like the gateway part. In the gateway part is like the ability to connect with different kinds of services. You have iMessage, Signal CLI, Bolt for the Slack, Discord, Grammy, Bailey's. Like basically you have got everything in terms of like interacting with this OpenClaw from any system or any messenger outside this. And there are then a couple of like technical details as well. For example, it's using its own built-in agent core, which has different context assembly in terms of prompt engineering, hybrid search to actually fetch from memories, tool definition to use some internal tools, and also Docker isolation if you're preferring that setup. And then on the other side, we have session store, which stores like the chat history. So everything is being stored on the device itself. Load config to load any configuration, a cron scheduler so that you can run background jobs, and also a built-in health monitor, which is pretty cool. What you can else do is like you can actually install a couple of skills. So some of these skills comes built in, but then that's where you can go to Claw Hub, which is like app store for OpenClaw skills, and it can easily install any skill. And by this date, there are thousands of different skills that you can install, and your OpenClaw agent can use. This wasn't crazy enough that OpenClaw now has its own Reddit. It has its own social media where it can chat with other agents and then basically discuss about different kind of topics and stuff like that. So how that's working is basically you can point your OpenClaw with just one single line of code. It can go and connect with the Molt book MCP, and this is where all the AI agents are interacting with each other. And what they are doing is kind of the same system like how you see on Reddit, that they can actually post and sub post about each other's content. And then there is a different kind of service as well, which is fetching context from the real time with the Clodder Burge. And then there are supposedly human observer as well, which are keeping an eye out and making sure that these agents don't go rogue. But we are already seeing them rogue. I don't even want to share my screen, but it's actually pretty weird, like the kind of stuff they are sharing. But that's what everything about OpenClaw is, and hopefully that gives you a little bit of better idea. If you haven't tried OpenClaw, definitely try it.